Boom, and there we have it, guys. Another day, another basically $200 profit. It was kind of a sketchy day though. To be honest, pre-market, I wasn't really feeling it. I made a few mistakes. KODK was really the one to trade again. It was ripping off without me, typical. But at the same time, I remained my cool. I did not FOMO into it at any one point. Actually, honestly, looking at KODK, I just was like, I was so content with not trading it. I had a hard time thinking about how I would manage my risk, and trading is all about risk management, that I was like, I think I'm gonna let this one slide. And let's watch it, let's learn from it, but let's not, FOMO into anything. That's what I did right. Instead, I was really focused on HTBX, and I cleaned it up with HTBX, and I did okay with SNOA as well. So I'm pretty happy about, focusing on what I knew would work, and then learning from something that I wasn't as familiar with. I mean, KODK is just absolutely insane. We're going to talk about, is KODK maybe a possible swing trade from here as well? We're going to talk about HTBX. I want to put some focus on this one. And then just, review the other tickers. There's some really good lessons to review today, some great trades to review today. And yeah, let's go to the charts now because there's a lot to talk about. It was absolutely insane today in the stream. So guys, welcome to everyone that is new. And if you're watching this video for the first time, don't forget we go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to review the watches, trade the market open. I would love to see you there. Join the community by subscribing and checking out the live streams. All right, guys, let's dive into it now. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content, and let's go to the charts now. All right, guys, welcome back. So, wow, what an absolute kind of crazy day we had today. So, let me just get myself a little organized here. Let me close this. Our last trade on the day was with SNOA. At 10 o'clock. So we wrapped up trading pretty early, and then we were just watching KODK absolutely explode. We ended the day with about $180 profit, roughly. It says 267 loss here on ENT, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Maybe it shows more information here. No, it doesn't. But overall, besides ENT, which was a trade we made yesterday, and that's why P&L day is so high, so low. We had, SNOA winner, HTBX, ACHV, and KODK. These two I only traded pre-market. I could have had a bigger winner day today, but I traded pretty small size overall. Again, a day where it seemed like KODK was the hottest one, and I had a hard time jumping on board with this one because the problem I have with KODK is oftentimes when we see a stock up so much, especially on a secondary green day, there'll be a huge offering and then it drops like 50-60%. And I have a hard time managing my risk on tickers like that. I've already been on 2 halts in an offering on the way down, and those were really unfun. So sometimes, I think on KODK, looking back, with hindsight 50-50, or 20/20 vision, I'm just like, okay, yeah, this one, was a large cap. This one, this deal is pretty big. Does have a tweet from Trump. So it does have a bit more reason why we would have maybe wanted to trade KODK more aggressively. I definitely understand that, and I definitely understand that I missed a pretty decent opportunity on this one. First of all, my lines are a little crazy on here because they no longer really hold any relevance. And since we're zoomed out so far because this run was absolutely insane, it's even less relevant than it was before. But let's go pre-market where everything made a little bit more sense again. Let's actually go back a little bit further here. So KODK was ranging between this $12 and $13 zone, which is multi-support and resistance areas. And then we started popping it back. And this is actually, when I did my first trade on KODK, right here, the market opened pre-market at 7 o'clock. The market actually opens, I think, at 4 or 4:30 a.m. I think it's 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The important thing is, at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, TD Ameritrade, this brokerage allows pre-market trading. So at 7 o'clock, and a lot of brokers allow pre-market trading starting at 7. So that's why at 7, you can see all the big volume came in, and this thing shot up here. It went up quite a bit, like 15% or so, and then it quickly pulled back. And I knew there was big support here right under VWAP, so I actually ended up getting a small trade on this one. Again, I used small position size. I didn't really trust KODK. I was still way too suspicious on it. Totally unwarranted, but it is what it is. Whatever. Sometimes, you miss an opportunity, but it doesn't really matter as long as you manage your risk. And over time, you're going to get more comfortable with certain setups and certain tickers and certain what have you. So I know that maybe in 6 months from now, maybe even a month from now, maybe even a week from now, when I see a similar ticker, I'll have more knowledge, I'll have more experience, and maybe I'll go a little bit more aggressive on something like KODK, something similar. I remember we had INPX back in January, just absolutely exploding like 900% or something like that. And then, oh God, there's just so many. I forgot all the tickers. Anyway, what I liked about KODK was that 8 million float, U.S. specialty biz service company. Yesterday had that $765 million loan from the U.S. government. So really, really nice stuff there for a ticker that has room to run. So the catalyst is really, really good. Came out with a bunch of other kind of news that just is rehashing. But one thing that was really important that I overlooked this morning, and this is really silly mistake from my end, but if we just come back here, let's see if I can find one of these articles. Here goes. Trump, I don't know if he tweeted about it or toots. I'm not even really sure what a toot is. It's just like talk about it, mention it. I don't know why they would use the word toot though. So he apparently talks about it. And I think anytime there's an influential person, regardless if you're, following the person, if you care about the person, if you like him or don't like him, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is, if a president, especially of America, talks about a stock, I mean, that brings a lot of attention to a ticker, right? It's ridiculous. So I did not give this the fair amount of weight that I should have. That was a really amateur hour mistake on my end. I actually totally overlooked it to begin with. So I didn't even know about it till somebody in the chat room, and this is why I like the community so much, because you guys bring a lot of good stuff to my attention all the time, pointed out that Trump was tweeting about it, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, well, that's actually quite big. So I didn't know about that till I'm not even really sure, sometime pretty close to the market opening, I believe. Yeah, and then I was watching this in this whole area. I remember seeing this one at 1320, and I was like, do I really want to trade it at 1320? I don't know. It's having a double top, and then it broke out from that, broke out from resistance here at 14, pulled back. It was beautiful. We had a nice 5-minute pullback here. It was super, super nice, and then just started ripping. About 17.5 into the market open when it pulled back here. I actually almost entered KODK, but I think I was too busy with another ticker, which doesn't matter because I had two really nice trades on the day that basically brought me all of my profits on the day, which is about $200, $180 roughly. In the recap video that we're gonna have, the monthly recap video, it's gonna be a bit more obvious to see. And obviously tomorrow when I document my trades from today, it's gonna be easier to see, especially because that trade with ENT or whatever it was, it's just very confusing. We'll talk about that in a second, but absolutely crazy. KODX runs up all the way to $60. This was really, really something I did not expect. I think I was expecting this thing to hit maybe past 20 because 20 was a huge, huge support and resistance zone. Let's quickly go to the weekly chart. Everything kind of looks a little bit better on the weekly chart. Oh man, honestly, I just need to start getting rid of some of these, but I'll do this in my free time. There's just too many to get rid of. So right now I'm just gonna leave it. But basically, we had here highs of 30, 35 and 36 and like 37. And the big one was around 30. So we were thinking, okay, maybe it's going to hit 25. There was big resistance here, hit 25. We were looking at 30, hit the 30. And after it hit the 30, I think it just didn't even stop. It just went like right past everything. So yeah, hit 30, got halted and just went all the way to 60 right away. I don't think a lot of people were expecting 60. That's an all-time high for Kodak. I mean, this is a pretty old company and it's never traded at these levels before. So that's mind-blowing. And a ticker with an 8 million float, guys, this is why we love low floats, because a stock under 10 million, under 10 million float has that spike ability. A stock with 100 million float sometimes does these kind of moves, but it's very, very rare. Almost always is it a ticker under 10 million float. So that's why we always look for those low float tickers. And oftentimes, if I'm undecided between the top 3 lead tickers, lead stocks on the day, lead gappers that are gapping up pre-market, I will pick the ones with the lowest floats because oftentimes those are actually the ones that perform much, much better. So unless I'm looking for a red to green or a dip move or something like that, but even then a lower float is quicker movement and that's good. Yeah, so I was just thinking, what else do I want to talk about this? And I think one thing that I do want to talk about on KODX, and I think or KODK, I don't know why I keep saying X, that I think is really something worth considering is, we're right now on our second big green day. So let's go back here to the daily chart. And again, I apologize for all my red lines, but I'm not going to bore you guys with just me removing them right now. Let's quickly go back. back. So here we have our first big green day, red day, and I'm still confused about this area because yesterday the stock never actually went below 750 open hour. So I really don't know why there's a wick here to the downside. I think maybe there was a flash pullback or something that you can't see on TOS, but it's very, very weird that there's a wick here. Anyway, big first green day. And then today, if we just scroll forward a little bit, where's that button? And first of all, let me move this down here a little bit. Yeah, today's the second big green day. And, you know, there's a big question. Is tomorrow going to be the third big green day? I am a little bit more skeptical, to be honest. Like, this was a huge big green day. And I feel like the company might want to take advantage of the high stock price. So maybe they will come out with some sort of offering or something like that. If this does hold the highs, I'll probably check it later today. I wouldn't mind accumulating some KODK, maybe for a overnight hold around the, especially if we have a break of VWAP. So if VWAP breaks here, pulls back to 20, we see some big support or maybe even lower. I would probably think about buying around 20 and then look for either a bounce or maybe hold overnight. Again, I'm not really sure. It's not something I do a lot, but KODK has a lot of attention today. So as long as during the day we have no horrible news, I would probably consider doing something like that. Again, it's really, really tough to say. And it really depends on what happens throughout the day. I mean, by the time, you know, it's power hour, that would be kind of an interesting time to think about, you know, how I would want to trade this one. Maybe I'm going to trade tomorrow pre-market or something like that. But I do not think I would be trading it over $30. As you can see here, we had a nice little bounce towards 30 and then we pulled back higher. So I would have probably looked for a break of 30 and then waited for the volume to fade, which it did, and then start accumulating. So that's like a very typical kind of way I trade break of support. Right now, I don't think I would be trading up here. It's just very, very difficult to manage your risk. You could say I have a stop at 30, but you know, that's already a 10% move down. I don't know. This thing just has been getting halted all over the place. It has a giant spread. So in the order book, the difference between the bid and the ask, it's a very big spread, which means it gets halted a lot. So I don't know. I'm not super crazy about KODK. It was super fun to watch, but I don't really see myself, you know, jumping on this for no reason. Just really quickly here, let's review some of the other tickers. We had SNOA. SNOA. This was actually our lead gapper for a while today. 1.8 million shares outstanding. I couldn't find the float, but that's a really, really nice amount of shares outstanding. US drug manufacturer company with microsafe disinfectant and sanitizer pass Boeing test. So apparently they're going to be supplying Boeing with some hand sanitizer and whatnot. SNOA was a kind of a cool ticker. I pre-marketed, was really choppy. I didn't really like it, but I knew there was big support around $10. And let's zoom out here a little bit on the 5-minute chart. We knew there was huge support around $10. So I was like waiting for actually a break of like 10.5 and to see if some more support came in, which actually did happen. I had a limit order to like 10.3. I totally missed this one. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. 16% move I missed. Whatever, it happens. Anyway, we had a kind of a double bottom here, and then we started breaking higher. Again, I missed this move, but then I was like, there's no way I'm going to miss a second move because this thing is charging up right now. I like the fact that we had a double bottom, and now we're trending above the 9-minute EMA. This was a huge bullish indicator for me, and on the pullback, I bought, you know, a decent position size, $2,000. No like blow away size trade, but like a pretty okay one. I knew this was kind of a shaky trade though, SNOA, because long-term chart, this thing has a huge history of gapping up and pulling back. Gap up, pull back, gap up, pull back, gap up, pull back, just all over the place. And I knew that this was a recent runner, so it probably had a lot of back holders, and a lot of people are probably waiting for this price to get out of this stock. So I was really kind of antsy with this one. I was like, if we even touch VWAP, I'll probably get out of this one because last time we broke VWAP, it didn't hold. So I had a pretty decent move on this, about 5%. I could have held another 5% on the break of VWAP, but again, that would have been to me more risk. And without, very, very clear, I don't know, decent risk reward, but more like one-on-one. To me, an entry here for a retest of VWAP, this is pretty safe because, here, if we start pulling back below 10.5, which we haven't been able to do, I'm risking about 2% here to make about 5%. So this one, much better risk reward. Break of VWAP, yeah, it could happen, but whatever. I missed that. What else? Yeah, the rest of the day, I was kind of thinking about trading it again here, but I missed this one, and I don't know. Now it's not really interesting to me anymore, so I'm not going to trade it. I got to say, BLNK, look at this thing popping up on our scanners here. Really, really trying to make some moves. I've had a limit order here on this one for a while at like $4 and never really got a fill on it, so it's kind of unfortunate. I'll probably go ahead and remove my limit order here at 4. We have some really nice support and resistance, but I don't know. This thing could just get an offering one day. Also, check out the daily momentum here. BLNK, we're going down, 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 down. So as this thing goes up, there's less and less volume. That's a very clear divergence, and that is not something you really want to be seeing. So if I was still holding this, I'd probably be looking to take some profits on BLNK, especially because the EV electric vehicle trend. I don't really think it's a trend or like a fad or anything like that, but with stocks, just like 3D printers, just like with e-cigarettes, just like with, I don't know, the ridiculous amount of stuff, dot-com bubble, you name it, even the tulip bubble back in like 17, whatever. There's a time where something goes exponential and then it falls back down. It doesn't mean the stuff loses necessarily value or is less, useful or amazing, but it goes through like hype cycles. That's just like human psychology. And, I think the hype cycle for EVs, at least on the stock market, is dying down a little bit. I think in real life, it's still going up, but in the stock market, it's a bit overextended. It needs to consolidate a little bit, and then I would like to accumulate maybe on some bigger dips. So that's how I feel about BLNK, and you can kind of see it here in the volume. Less people are trading this one every day, but it's still going up. So at one point, this is going to crash. Let's see here if, let's see what else we got. An HTBX, another ticker. This is actually the one I was really focused on today. This was actually and still is the lead gapper on the day. And HTBX, this was quite cool. 78 million float, really big, which gave me though confidence on dip buying this one a lot. US biotech, coronavirus vaccine, preclinical study, looking really good. And I want to talk about maybe is this a potential swing trade. So this one, HTBX, right around 7 o'clock again, absolute ripper. Actually, this one was a little bit later, around 7:30. So 7 o'clock opened up here. So this one popped up on our scanners a little bit later. I remember that. Some clinical trials on coronavirus. Okay, so, this thing opens up here, and I was thinking that there's a really good chance because, this thing pre-market, or, we know it has big resistance at 3, know it has some support at 2.5, and then some bigger resistance around 3.5. So this thing, pops up here, is at 3, tries to break out from 3, doesn't really do it and pulls back a little bit. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's going to, oops, sorry about that. Oh God, where are we? Maybe it's going to have a second attempt. So I was like, okay, well, let me go on for this pullback VWAP kind of bounce. I, ended up trading this one, but my entry was kind of sloppy, and then my exit was like kind of weird. I walked away with like 2 cents profit on this one. I was like, okay, well, that's not really what I wanted, but at least, I managed my risk on this one, because if I, kept on holding, this small winner could have been a big loser. So that's good. Didn't really feel comfortable trading this one again until somewhere in this area, and I took some losses on this one. I think I took 2 losses in a row on this one, and then I made a little bit of profit on this bigger dip buy here at 267. Either way, it was all one big break even, and I don't know, I think I was like up $2 or something like that by the time the market opened. And then we had this retest here of $3, and this retest, I was like, there's no way I'm probably going to try to buy this $3 breakout, because $3 is big resistance. This was a former runner, probably a lot of back holders on this one. This thing just screams of something shady going to happen to it. Shady in terms of like, big sell-off, because, big $3 resistance. We had multiple retests here. So I'm not going to trade this one. Instantly that happens. This thing goes back like 8% or so, has like a little bit of a bounce. So, try to do a red to green move here, 5%. This could have been an interesting red to green move. Not saying that, this thing had no opportunity, but this could have been a good little dip. Then flushes here again. This flush was pretty mean, 9%. But then, all the sell volume starts fading off a little bit, and try to crack here at 250, like 260. And I even said this on the live stream. If it breaks 260, I'm going to buy the dip at 257, especially if sell volume fades. That's exactly what happened. I entered here, and I was looking for a 9-minute EMA breakout. We didn't get the breakout, so I took a small profit on this one. This one put me basically up $50 on it. And then eventually, I got kind of the trade I wanted. I entered here on the breakout. This was a breakout trade. I entered at like 257, 257, and then I wanted to trade it into the break of 60. So I, again, maybe like 2% on this one. So again, both of these trades were kind of small percentage wise, but 2 very base hits, and I walked away with $100. So that was kind of cool. The big trade on HTBX that I really wanted was right here at 230, the dip of 230. That was the one I wanted. I wanted to buy at 225. I had my order there, and I missed it by 2 cents, and it runs up 11%. I'm like, no, you got to be kidding me. Like, there's probably no way I would have held all the way up to 2.5. But I probably would have done this trade. It would have been 4%. I could have probably made another 80 $80 on it, maybe $100 on it, and I walked away with that one. That would have been a really, really nice way to wrap up trading. So I kind of regret not jumping on this a little harder, and then maybe even jumping on it here at 2.3 again. Could have been a good run, but whatever. You can't get them all, and I kind of missed this one. I was really focused on KODK. I'm not focused on it, but it was fun watching it with you guys. So again, don't really regret it, but like that would have been actually. I had more FOMO about HTBX on that missed entry than I did with KODK all day today. It's so weird. Like I'm not making that up. I honestly have no. Like I'm looking at KODK and like there's no feelings. There's just nothing. Nothing's there. I'm a robot. No, but is HTBX going to be interesting? What I like, or a possible swing trade, what I really like about HTBX is the fact that we had big volume coming in here. We had low volume coming in here. So big green volume on the way up, low sell volume on the way down. To me, that's always a really, really good sign. So I could see HTBX being something that maybe has a good day. I would probably consider buying this one near bigger support. Maybe pre-market, it's going to pull back to $2. And that I think could be a really good trade opportunity. So $2, I would probably keep my eyes on it. And then I would probably sell it into some sort of bounce back to like 230 or 220 or something like that. I don't think I would trade it any other way. I think accumulating down here near big support between 1.8 and $2 is probably the way to go. And maybe you'll get lucky that there's going to be another announcement of news, and then it'll spike it to 3.5, maybe past 4. But I don't know. In this area, we've had multiple good days, and this thing already went exponential from 2 cents, 20 cents to $4. That's a huge run, guys. It's a really big run. A lot of times I don't see these stocks go more than 10 times from where they started. And, this is already, 20 times from where it started. So I don't know. I'm really, really cautious on a lot of these tickers. And I'm kind of scared this comes out with warrants. I would really like, what I really like to trade are these like first big green days, like trading something like one or here. This is actually a multi-day runner, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big green days has had. And look, on the 5th green day, we were talking about this, this is where it had that, wicked pullback. This was a huge pullback, 38%. I don't even think it had really any news that came out about that. Let me quickly see here. On the 21st, let's see if it had anything on the 21st. Doesn't look like it. Nope, no news. So yeah, this one didn't have an offering or anything like that, which actually makes me have a little bit more confidence with HTBX. That maybe $2 is going to be a good support zone. So definitely something to watch. Again, you kind of want to manage your risk on this one. So I think the $2 zone is really the way to kind of do that. Maybe even like 193, 195 or something like that. I don't know. This thing did pull back all the way here to about like 184. So what you could do is do like a starter position and then see if it gets filled and then kind of average down a little bit, but really kind of managing your risk. And if it breaks, like, I don't know, if it breaks 180, then just kind of close the position. But I don't know. For now, I'm not going to put a limit order, but definitely on my radar for sure. Yeah. ACHV, this is going to be really quick to talk about. This was 37 million float, Canadian biotech, good quarterly results. ACHV, just really kind of quickly, blam. Where is it? Did this thing fall off a cliff? No, it didn't. I thought it fell more. Oh, man, I'm kind of kicking myself about this one because this is one I could have traded again and again and again. Pre-market, it was up all the way to 1.3, which I felt like was really a lot. Long-term wise, this thing's all over the place. Huge resistance from like 1.2, 1.4. I wasn't really, too crazy about this one, but I did know that about 80 cents was huge support and resistance multi-month zone. And I bought the kind of dip down here. I'm looking to kind of accumulate for a break of 9-minute EMA. It looked like it was really weak and I closed this one, walked away with like $40 profit. It was ridiculous. Whatever. I still made some profit. It was a very small position size. And eventually it did get that break here. So this would have been a much bigger win. But I got kind of faked out here. Look how much sell volume was here. This was so shady. I did not stick around. I wanted to actually buy back here at about 0.76 or so if we got that dip. We didn't get it. And then we actually got the dip down here and then we had another nice move. So I could have traded ACHV much, much better, but I'm not the one to stick around in a trade if it's just, not doing anything. Let's see, KODK, obviously we talked about that one. And yeah, let's talk about ENT very quickly. Again, there's nothing really too special about this one. I just kind of bought the dip. on this one, which actually would have worked out. This was a profitable, my thesis was right, but my timing was off. So this pulled back all the way here to about $2, where that's a huge support and resistance, multi months, and this is just beautiful. What happens pre-market? This thing's selling off. I buy right here at 212, way too early. Has a nice bounce though, and this buy was a limit order that I placed a couple of days ago. So actually, when this went off, I was not online, and I didn't even know I got executed. When I came online this morning, we were down here at about $2, and I bought some more at about 202, which I felt like was an okay idea, because this first fill was only $1,000. It was like a very small size. But then at one point for my entry, I was down like 14%. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm past my max stop. It's hard to get out of this one because it's very late traded. So, I have to listen to my stop, and I'm going to get out on the next bounce. This thing starts pulling up near VWAP, and I close my position for a pretty small loss. I think I lost like $80 or something on that. We could quickly calculate it more or less. I mean, like my average position size, I think was like $2.09. So let's just say I still had my 700 shares, $2.09, and I actually think it was lower than that. I remember seeing it lower than that. So yeah, that's a $1,500 position size, and I closed let's just see here. I closed at 195. So yeah, 5%. So yeah, I lost like $80 on this one, which isn't the worst. But the only reason it's saying I lost 267 is because yesterday we closed here at 246 actually. According to FinViz and according to TOS this morning. So 286 is where we closed. So technically, when I entered this at 212, I was already down not technically, but like according to TOS, like $200 or so, which I was never down $200. I was actually in the profit. It was super weird. And then this thing, pulls off, and I actually average down. And this thing is thinking that I'm down so much, because technically, based on yesterday's close, I was instantly, when I bought here and we closed here, I was instantly up like $200 or something absurd, like $150 or something like that, or like I don't know, whatever. You guys get the point. Basically, yesterday it said I made $200 roughly on this one, and then today it's saying I lost 267, although I lost like $80 on this one. So overall, today was a nice little profit day. Unfortunately, I could have maybe held this a little bit longer, and we would have actually closed this for a profit. Yeah, I mean, even if we closed here at like the perfect high, I still would have, and we made like 100 something bucks off this one, it still would have said we lost money on this one. Weird. Whatever, it is what it is. It's not really that weird when you think about it, but if like you're totally new to scanners and markets and yada yada, it's probably like, wait, I don't get it. But whatever, it's not a big deal. Kind of a funny situation. I wish I kind of held into the rally, because there was big buyers coming in here, and then I had a feeling it was going to rip through VWAP, but I think it was like Friday we held a ticker way too long, and I constantly was waiting for it to reverse and break VWAP, and it never did. And that happened to me twice, and both the times I was constantly focused on it, and I was messing up my other trades because I was so focused on it. I didn't want the same thing to happen with ENT, because I knew if I kept on looking over to ENT all day to see if it's moving higher, I probably would have messed up all my other trades. You could say, yeah, Alex, you should have held a little bit longer, but maybe me holding would have actually caused me to lose money here. So I actually don't regret holding or closing this one. My thesis and my timing were right and wrong. Whatever, I got to cut my losses, and whatever, it was great. I was able to get back some of my losses on that bounce, so phenomenal. And then I was able to focus all my attention at the market open towards other things that were more important, like the stocks that were actually moving. So again, I don't really regret it at all, and I think we did pretty good today. So I'm looking forward for tomorrow, another hopefully solid day. I'm actually excited for maybe to get some new tickers on here. I love trading new tickers. I like getting more aggressive on a stock that's gapping up on its first day. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little bit less comfortable on the second, third, fourth, or sometimes even fifth green day in a row. At that point, you almost know for certain something traumatic is going to happen, and the stock is going to fall 50, 60, 70% in a day. We see it happen again and again. It's almost 100% guaranteed. Nothing's 100% guaranteed, but it's like 99.9% guaranteed that that's what happens. So that's why I get really uncomfortable on the second, third, fourth, fifth green day. Honestly, like a fifth big green day in a row, it's like very rare. Almost never happens. Second green day, it's already still pretty rare. Like that's how rare the 5th big green day is. And that's why on KODX, I was just really not about that life. And I knew this thing would fall off a cliff at one point, but yeah, we'll see what we do with it. I'm going to be interested to follow this one a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't know. I have no desire to trade this one at all. And I have no sort of like FOMO because I didn't trade it, because I knew this one is not something I should be trading. I had a hard time managing my risk with it. But yeah, maybe in the future, as I gain more experience with trading small caps, especially these, gappers that are just extremely explosive, then I will be more confident trading it. And then yeah, I'll probably have FOMO if I don't trade it, because then I'm like, Alex, you should have traded this one. You know that this one was going to explode. But for now, you know what? I'm totally fine with sitting in the sidelines. And I think, practicing that discipline of, hold up, I'd rather watch and learn than, start throwing money at stuff I don't fully understand. I think there's a lot of value in that. And sometimes you should celebrate that more than, saying, oh, I missed out on some profits today. Because even if I traded this today with like my, $1,000 or $2,000 position size, those profits, even if, went up $100 and I made $2,000 on that, that's not like that crazy. Like in the future, when I'm trading 10, 20, 30, $50,000 position size, a $2,000 trade is just going to be another day. So, thinking about that in the future, in the long run, really reduces stress now. It's like, I could keep trading, maybe I'll make another $100, but what's $100? That's just a lot of stress for no reason. And I'd rather go and enjoy my evening, make dinner, have a good time, maybe go to maybe play some table tennis with some friends, do some other things, like enjoy my life, and not, super stressed about, every second staring at the market. I've already been staring at the market since 6:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So at one point, you got to know when to wrap it up. And I really hope that lesson like resonates with some of you, because I think that was some of the hardest things for me to get used to when I first started trading many years ago, because it was just like, you're trying to do all these different things. You feel like you're always missing something. So you're trying to watch everything. That's a very stressful way to live your life. So, work really hard when you're watching the market, try to get aggressive when you see those good opportunities, and then, walk away when like you have those rules on when to walk away. For me, it's 10:30 to 11. Sometimes I'll still come back in the afternoon, but it doesn't have to be like that. So when I walk away, I like to, like, sometimes I FOMO into it. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect at walking away. Sometimes I still come back, trade, lose money, make money. I don't know. It's a mix up, but I'm getting much, much better at just being able to walk away. And looking back at it, I really, really value that. So yeah, that's my feedback on that, because I know a lot of you guys were like, Alex, you missed KODK today. I'm like, no, I didn't miss it. I didn't want to trade it. I didn't miss something that I didn't want to do. Like, I don't know. All right, guys, don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. And if you're totally new, consider subscribing. Definitely consider joining the community. It's really, really good fun. Today was absolutely crazy in the live stream. But yeah, really, really good fun. All right, guys, I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Till then, guys, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.